All right, hello, welcome back. We've got some beautiful music playing here, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and I wanted to talk about something that had came up in the news recently. There was a shooting at the school in Florida. It's really, really horrible, and one of the things that was asked of a security expert was what role did media, say, violent movies, violent video games, play in this, and the security expert's answer was they're not entirely sure what role it plays and doesn't seem to have that big of an impact, based on the studies. They can't really tell for sure one way or the other. But that at the very least, it doesn't help in that regard. And I wanted to kind of discuss that a little bit while we have Evie looking around and me not doing anything, to yeah, anything to distract me or anybody from it. So we can do a little pan, look around things and stuff. So I want to kind of take, like I said, look at that and see what is there violent. Well, okay, so say really what can we do? I mean, if video games aren't helping that sort of situation, what can be done so that they do help? And there are two things that I think can be done, but they're not things I can personally do, but that we as a society on a whole can do. Now, the first one is to actually pay attention to the ratings on movies and video games. I noticed years ago that, when I worked in a video store, that people would ignore the ratings, and then we'd get 12-year-old kids checking out, violent and sexually inappropriate R-rated movies with the parents' permission, just because parents ignored it. And I think starting in the home, we need to start paying attention to what the ratings say. And I recently noticed a similar thing with video games. I knew of a young man who talked about how wonderful the BioShock series was. This is a 10-year-old telling how wonderful BioShock was, which is not a good game for a 10-year-old to be looking at and playing. Not just for the blood and the violence, but also because of the moral questions and conundrums in it. I mean, you're basically asked what you're given the choice of killing a little girl so you have a better chance of surviving, or not killing a little girl. It's not a moral choice that a 10-year-old should be trying to make. And so there's that. And this game I'm playing, it is rated M, so it's 17 plus. And I'm actually looking at the case right now. It says on the back the reasons why: blood, drug references, strong language, and violence. Which, okay, I can see that. There is some strong. There's actually not as much strong language as you would expect. Every once in a while, you'll hear somebody say a naughty word, but not as bad as some other games I've seen. So, yeah, don't think if you're under the age of 17, and this shouldn't be a absolute 100%. Anyone under the age of 17 absolutely never plays this. It should be, that should be used as a starting point, and the person, it's different people, different maturity levels, should be used and judged by parents when deciding whether their children should play or watch R-rated or M-rated games or movies, respectively. Now, the second thing, is that people who make these should really watch what they put in there. My issues with Origins, or if you've followed me, you know of my issues with Origins, in that, just basically topless women in a video game seems highly, highly inappropriate, and it ruined my entire experience of the game because it just felt wrong. And, just because you can do something or put something in a game doesn't mean you should. And I'm not, condoning censorship, but I'm also saying, people should use some intelligence when putting together a game, and if something's not appropriate, it shouldn't be a part of the game. Now, those are the things I think that can be done, And I wanted to add something else about video games that to the best of my knowledge, this has never actually been studied. But I think video games can have a positive effect. For those of you who follow the channel, you know what I did with the Hitman videos of For Those Who Suffer, and in showing solidarity to the gymnasts who were systemically sexually assaulted by by the doctor who worked for them, and showing that solidarity. It also, for me, was about finding closure for those assaults. Having worked in the mental health field with people who had been sexually assaulted, it did affect me and hit me in a very deep way. And being able to, basically put it into a video game allowed me to find closure of my own feelings, of my own thoughts in that regard. Now, and that was good. And also, I had also noticed years ago when I was living in Boston, those of you who have ever driven in Boston will know exactly what I'm talking about, but driving in traffic was very, very stressful for me. And when I got home, I had a game called The Simpsons Hit and Run, which was a comedic, driving game where a good chunk of it was you could, ram into things, drive on the sidewalk, destroy property and stuff like that. And it was incredibly, incredibly cathartic to play that after trying to drive in Boston traffic. And, I know of no studies that people have done on that, but I think given the right circumstances, that it can be mentally a good thing. Video games can be a mentally good thing and a way to, relieve tensions, to feel better and feel good about things that have happened to you, to find closure, to, find a cathartic release, kind of like punching a punching bag at a gym, or taking martial arts, or taking a boxing class, or something like that, can really provide a conduit for a lot of people who are going through stuff or might have violent thoughts or tendencies. Anyway, so that's just my 2 cents about that, and just the feeling that people who play video games should be more, yeah, that's a better shot of her. She's more in the light there. Should be more aware of the effect the games have, and, we should look into the positive side of video games. So anyway, like and subscribe, yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye.